Hello, happy Monday, my savvy service providers, scaling to 10K months. We are here, we are live, our regularly scheduled day time. This is a conversation I am really pumped to have. This is all about things I have done in my business that don't make sense on paper, but have really helped me cross $1 million in lifetime cash, working while I have 1 to 3 kids. I birthed 3 kids during this journey. That is something I'll be talking about more. I'm basically hitting my 10 years now. My oldest daughter just had her 10th birthday yesterday. So that's basically when I hit my 10 years in business because I kind of birthed them at the same time. So that's very exciting. And we'll have some more combos talking about that. But if you're new here, welcome. I'm Jordan Ilderton. I'm a business coach. I support women to not only sell out their offers, but create offers that charge 2x to 14x their previous rate, and they do it in a way that is so much easier. It's not just about pricing. It's not just about going viral or getting more people in your audience. It's truly about creating an offer, creating messaging, positioning, nailing all of that, creating a sales process that supports someone beautifully so that you get these easy yeses, you get clients that just flow in and business feels so good and so easy so that you can create 10K months, 20K months. I have clients making 200K a month. I know it's crazy and people are like, what the fuck? Really? You have that? And I'm like, yes, but I've got screenshots. I've got the receipts. I've been here. I've only offered one-to-one support for 4 years now. One of the few coaches in this space who hasn't scaled out of one-to-one. And that's kind of part of the conversation we're going to have today. But if you're looking, if you're craving, if you've been thinking about one-to-one support, I'm holding consults now for a one-to-one spot opening September 1st. This is for someone who maybe is new to business and wants to start off on the right foot and wants to get support immediately so that you can create everything and get to those 10K months faster so that the clients you have right now aren't a fluke. Or this is for someone who's been in business for a minute. They've got clients and now they just continually finding yourself apologizing for your rates, bending over backwards, giving discounts when you didn't want to, just to book a client, just to get someone through the door, and have really just not been able to get those consistent 10K plus months. This is who this is for. And this is a zero pressure consult. This is literally to see if this is a fit. I only offer one-to-one. I have a very small roster and my clients get amazing results. And it's because I'm discerning for fit as much as you are. If we're not a fit, I'll be happy to tell you. But after this call, after our conversation today, I will drop a link. We're booking calls for that again. This is for a one-to-one spot, a partnership spot opening up September 1st. I also do traffic dashboards that are worth $2,000. I do those for free. People cannot believe I do that. Again, we're going to talk about that today, but let's dive in because I have created results that kind of don't make sense on paper. And that's something I'm always talking about with my clients is they have results that kind of don't make sense. I have a client now who's booked over 50K in sales in like 5 months. And she has the simplest strategy out of all of my clients. And you could look at that and be like, that doesn't make sense on paper. Or clients who have hired me at $0 or $4,000 a month and it doesn't make sense on paper. And then they get like a $32,000 month and they get like this crazy ROI. So that's what we're talking about today is things I've done in my business that don't make sense on paper because it would have cost me big. Like the $9,000 group program would have cost me, I'm saying it's $98,000 in one client if I had listened to their advice. And we'll talk about numbers later and what it would cost me, but I paid $4K for a mastermind that would have cost me $1 million in cash if I had listened to them. I put in the promo today 48 plus consecutive 5-figure months. It's more like 50 now. And that would have just been derailed if I was chasing the Reels membership to tell me to go viral. I take a full month off every summer in July. That would not have happened if I had looked to anyone else in the online space to see what they were doing and what the successful coaches are doing. So let's jump in because I think so often, and if you're here, please say hello. If you're here live or you're on the replay, let me pull myself up in the group. I love y'all's interaction. I know sometimes people are quiet and that's totally fine, but if you have questions, comments, anything around this, I want to hear it. Feedback about what you've done in your business, like let's have a conversation about this. And I will gift someone, if you leave a comment, anything gets you entered for a free coaching session. I don't give those away like I used to. I basically do it If you join up live, or if you're on my newsletter and I see you kind of interacting there, I'll pick someone once a month. But these are full on 45-minute coaching sessions for you to have me in your corner, in your back pocket, so that you can solve whatever problem we need to solve. Because so often people come to these calls and they literally don't know. I'm like, do we have a leads problem or a conversion problem? And they just don't know. They just know they aren't making the money they want and they want it fixed fast. So get my 10 years of experience, get my 4 years of experience supporting clients only one-to-one, helping people pass millions of dollars in revenue with simple strategies. So that is what I'm gifting today. If you join live or catch the replay, just say hello and leave a comment. So let's join in. Like, when people hear that I've created over $1 million in lifetime cash, working part-time around, my 3 kids' schedules. Like I said, I had my first daughter 10 years ago in tandem with starting this business. And I had daughter number 2, 14 months later, daughter number 3, like 2 years later. It was 2015, 2016, 2018. So in very quick succession. I don't have a big audience. I crossed multi-six figures with like 500 people in my Instagram following. I have a tiny team. I have a simple funnel. There's like 3 or 4 steps. I have a $10 a day ad budget, and I just looked. We're running some new ads. I have a $2.90 cost per lead, and I know that's going to go down because we've tested this and it's already worked. There was a glitch and I had to make a duplicate and start it over, so it's taken a minute to recalibrate, but it was down to like 150, so I know that's going to work really well. I barely pay anything in ads. They work so well. I get a crazy ROI. But what's worked the most in my business that I want people to understand is that brought in the most revenue and brought in the most freedom, like, wouldn't make sense on paper. So I really want to talk about that today because it's a huge problem in our industry. Again, I am working with women behind the scenes all day long. I'm in their business. I literally partner with them. Like, we're in Boxer multiple times a day. They have me on teamwork. They have me on 3 calls every month. It is a huge problem because so many service providers are making decisions based on what looks good on paper, and it can really bite them in the ass. So here's what I mean. If you've ever looked at a successful coach or looked at a successful online provider or someone in your industry who's doing well and thought, if I just follow their exact strategy, then I'll get the same results. That doesn't work. Or maybe you've tried or hesitated to try something because it didn't seem scalable, or it didn't make sense on paper, or it wasn't industry standard, or no one else was doing it. It's so interesting. I had a best fit call last week, and I emailed her this week, and I'm like, you've got to come to this conversation, because she had literally said she's brand new in her business, and she's like, I just don't know if this makes sense on paper. And I'm like, I have done so many things that don't make sense on paper, and it has served shit out of me. So if you've hesitated, if you've questioned yourself, if you thought you were crazy or your loved ones don't understand, like, this is the conversation for you. If you've tried raising your rates, or you wanted to raise your rates, or you shifted your offer and you thought it would bring more cash and clients and it didn't, this conversation is for you, because we have been trained to value what's marketable over what's profitable. And this is why I see so many smart, talented, qualified service providers. Like, the clients who hire me are the cream of the crop. Like, they are so good at what they do. They have the skills, they have the experience, the decades of experience, the certifications. They've got all of that, but they end up over delivering for low rates. They are running themselves ragged, trying to keep up with the next big thing, or trying to solve 50 problems that the online space tells them that they have. They're wondering why things that they've been told to do or told to work or work for somebody else just aren't bringing in more sales. But the truth is that what looks good on paper or what works for someone else is just there for appearance, and it's not necessarily there for results. So when you base your decisions on what looks impressive, you risk building a business that is all about hustle, or burning you out, or keeping you stuck in this hamster wheel wanting more and more and more, or actually cost you freedom that you actually wanted when you built your business. Speaking of today, I'm just looking at my hair. It has been pouring down rain. My girls are still home from school. We went to the Charleston Museum this morning. Like, I have so much freedom and flexibility in my business, even as a one-to-one coach. That's why my hair is flat right now, just because the weather here is so oppressive and like it's not doing my hair any favors. But the freedom that we want in our business, like so many service providers, I just see they've lost it. They don't have that freedom that they started their business for, whether it's to be with their kids, whether it's to be able to travel, whether it's to just work, less in their full-time job, or work less in this other business, or whatever it is. But today I'm going to share things that didn't make sense on paper or didn't look like they would work, but they've literally brought in clients. One client has paid me over $98,000 at this point. One has paid me over $79,000. One has paid me over $68,000. Like, these are just the same basic moves that have kept me full, kept me creating 10K, 14K, 23K months over and over and over for 50 plus months now. It's allowed me to take a full month off. Like I mentioned, we took the full month of July off. I shut down. But if you've just been making decisions in your business based on what looks good on paper, this conversation is going to change everything for you. So I've got 4 things we're going to dive into today. And again, if you join live, say hello. But the first thing that is like a bonus thing I just want to talk about, and because I have my one-to-one coaching call after this, like I've had my own one-to-one coach for 4 years now. And that didn't make sense on paper either. Like, it's not part of the conversation really today, but I have to mention it because I'm going to wrap this up and check on my kids and then have my call with her. But that didn't make sense on paper. I was making like $5,000 a month. I had all 3 girls in private daycares and private schools. That was $3,500 a month, like plus overhead. Plus I hired a team member. I hired a bookkeeper. I hired a VA so that I could get this arm of the business going. None of that made sense on paper. My profit margin dropped tremendously, but it is what has been the thing to help me scale past $1 million. So if you're sitting there and you're like, one-to-one support seems crazy, it doesn't make sense on paper, my profit margins are going to go down. It's like, it's literally probably the thing that's going to help you scale faster. It's the thing that is going to help you make more money faster. It's an investment. It's not an expense. My clients, obviously I can't promise results, but they get ROIs. Like, this is not about fluff or alignment. Like, I'm all about that alignment stuff, but this is about real strategy and real data and problem solving. And so again, like, just have to throw this out there. Hiring my one-to-one coach did not make sense on paper, and yet it is the thing that has helped me not only create the results I have, but to do it in a way that I freaking love, and that I love being here and, you know, being with my kids in the museum in the morning and being here with crazy flat hair when it's raining and getting to connect with y'all and getting to be with my clients. And I was like literally drinking my coffee this morning, checking in with Boxer. It's like my favorite part of the day. I love everything about my business, and obviously it has trade-offs. Obviously there's those days, but that feels important to say first off. But let's dive in, because these are the 4 things that, again, don't look good on paper. And the first thing I just have to speak to is the long-term high-value clients. Like, doesn't look good on paper, depth over volume, because from the outside, people would say that I need a bigger list. I need a bigger email list. I need a bigger audience, a bigger everything, basically. But my highest earnings have been because of my small roster. Again, I gave you the numbers, 95,000 plus, 98K at least at this point, 79K, 68K, 48K, 40K. Some of these clients have renewed over and over and over for like 4 years now since I've been doing this. But this doesn't happen because I have fancy funnels or like thousands of followers. It happens because I help my clients actually get results. Like, they get an ROI, so they keep renewing and staying. And obviously if someone feels complete, like, that's fine, they can be done. But I get crazy results with a tiny audience because I literally partner with my clients. Like I said, I'm in Voxer multiple times a day. I am messaging them. Like, they can be like, I'm thinking about this hook for Instagram, or I'm thinking about this training, or I'm thinking about this email, or I'm having this mindset thing, or like literally have this thought. Like, nothing is too small. I always tell them I set really good boundaries so they don't have to. Like, anything and everything, like, nothing is off the table. And that is so different from most other coaches or programs or masterminds. Basically every other person out there would tell me to like grow my audience or, you know, churn through clients to scale faster. But if I had followed that advice, I would have worked more, I would have earned less, and I would have constantly been in hustle. Do you need something, right? Okay, you get it. Like I said, I'm working with 3 kids, so it's totally fine if you want to come in here. I'm just not available to get stuff for you. So this is what we're doing today. But basically everyone, I get messages on Instagram or whatever all the time where people are like, let me help you grow your following. And I'm just like, joke on you. Like, I like have a tiny following, but I make really good money because I have such amazing relationships with my clients, and honestly, they're willing to sell for me as well. Like I've had multiple clients recently who have been emailing, one even offered her phone number to talk to a potential client. Like they are not only renewing with me, but they are willing to sell for me. And that is amazing. And it is from these high touch one-to-one relationships. I know their kids' names, their husband's names, where their kids go to school, how old they are, like what struggles they're going through, what happened with, parking ticket last weekend. Like I am all in their business and I love it. And no one would say that this is like a smart move on paper. Like no one would say that's a good idea or that's what I need to do. Like even the program that I honestly paid over $9,000 for it. I paid $9,000 for a 3-month course. And then after that, they upsold me for like 2 months for $1,200. Like I was in a course for $1,200 a month when I could get one-to-one support for almost that. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, but if I would have listened to them, I would have given less sessions every month, way less support. That's what my offer looked like when I first did that course and started booking clients, and clients didn't stay. And I learned really quickly what worked, like how my clients get the support they need. And it came from more high touch. And that program would not have told me to do that. Nobody in that program, they would have been like, no, you need better boundaries. You need to only give like 1 2-hour call a month. They can email you this many times. Like I go all in with my clients. Like they feel so supported. They cannot believe the level of detail I give, how available I am. And it would not have worked. Like I would not have created over $1 million cash if I had listened to that course. Like it just wouldn't have happened. And again, that's something that doesn't make sense on paper. So when we work together one-to-one, if you hire me, if we get on a consult, I am not going to try to force your business into anything. Whether you offer one-to-one, whether you offer a course or a program or a mastermind, we are not building something that's based on like what Susie Q has done or what I have done or what this other client has done. Like we're literally building this for you, what works for you, for your audience, your offers. Like that is what I am all about, is building something. Like we're not forcing you into a model or a type of business just because everybody else says it works or it looks good on paper. We are focused on building true client relationships, whether you have one-to-one clients like I do, or you have a course that needs 500 people in it. Like it doesn't matter, but you still create those relationships and it builds and it works so well for you. And it's like this, snowball rolling down the mountain, where when you start having, whether they're one-to-one clients or someone in a course that has a great experience, like they will stay with you. They will keep buying from you. They will keep speaking and selling for you. And that's where it gets so much easier, like building relationships that are true and real, helping your clients get the results that they want, whether it's in their business or in their health journey. And it's so sustainable because we don't have to keep churning and burning and trying to get new people. So that's when people keep coming back, is when you create something, again, whether it's one-to-one or a course or mastermind, but something that is real and true. And this is something that no one would have said would help me cross $1 million, is having this type of support. I have a client, I just mentioned her a minute ago, but she's made $54,600 in revenue because of the work we did for her business, like in like the first 5 to 6 months of working together. And this is not what most coaches would have told her. Like she has such a simple process. Most coaches would have told her to go build this huge funnel or to go do like so many other things. And we have kept it so simple. And she has added so much monthly revenue just in these first few months of working together. And it feels so easy for her. It feels so natural. Like it's just like, of course this is going to happen. And like, we know the next goal, like she's ready for the next goal. And like, of course that's going to happen. And I'm not trying to force her into any other strategy or offer. So that's the first piece, is what doesn't make sense on paper is offering this like such high touch, high level of support with my clients. Like this morning when I was in Boxer, I was literally reviewing content ideas. And I have another client who's creating a course. I am literally sitting there talking with her about what is in the course. Okay, let's move on because I want to not make this too long. Let's see, no comments. So the second piece is like the in-depth support in between the calls. So this doesn't look good on paper, but I'm in your business with you, not just on the calls. So I've been in that mastermind. It was $4,000 where you literally like wait your turn to talk. Like you get 2 minutes and you leave with like some generic advice. And that's not how I coach. I know the backstory on all of my clients. I know every pivot, every offer, every challenge. I can go back and look at like 3 launches ago, you got these conversion rates on your landing page, or 3 launches ago, you had this many VIP clients sign up. Like I literally have all of that. I was on a call with a client and she asked me my Enneagram and I was like, I don't know. Because my brain was so focused on her and her business. I like lost that part of my brain for a minute, but that is how much I am like giving clients in-depth support. And this matters because most service providers get stuck in a process of trying to apply strategies that aren't made for them. And then they're wondering why they're stuck at 2K or 5K months. So on paper, this much access and this much support doesn't make sense. It doesn't scale, but in real life, it's why my clients can hire me making $4,000 a month and then scale to consistent $32,000 plus months. Because in my coaching, you're not just getting the one-to-one sessions 3 times a month. You're getting my brain, you're getting my eyes, you're getting my feedback, you're getting my 10 years of experience, you're getting my breadth and depth of supporting so many clients over the years and so many different industries. You're getting all of that in between calls, in the moments. When you get off a sales call and someone has an objection, you can message me right there in Boxer, like, okay, they said this and we're talking through it. Or you're like in the middle of a launch and you're like, ugh, no one's buying. Like we are able to turn the ship around mid-launch because you're not waiting for that next group call. You're not like having someone just give you the like, well, try posting more or try selling more or try getting more reach. Like you're not having to do all of that. You're getting someone who's literally like pulling up your website, pulling up your Instagram content, pulling up your webinar, looking through the slides with you. Like you are getting that level of support in the moments that matter the most so that you can convert into sales, so that you can feel confident, so you can know the right problem to solve. Because that's when so many people are like tweaking their landing page when a launch isn't going how they want it. But with my traffic dashboards, it's so easy to be like, oh, you just don't have the traffic. We have the conversions. We just need more eyeballs on it. Like this is when it can be so powerful and save you so much time. Here's like distracting me because it's just so rained on and flat. But this is something, it was so funny. One of my clients was in a mastermind. And she was in this mastermind before she hired me. It was like a year commitment. So she was still in it. And of course, I'm like very mindful. Like, I don't want to step on any toes or give you conflicting advice from what the mastermind's telling you. But she mentioned a business owner that had this great idea for my client. And she came to me and was like, I mean, what do you think? And I'm like, this advice is not for you. That advice is for that business owner. I can totally see this was a business owner who had an in-person product-based business, and my client was online service-based. So like what this very well-meaning woman in her mastermind was telling her to do was great for this business and her business, but it was terrible, not only for my client's long-term strategy and cash and clients, like it was terrible just for her as a human being and the type of life she wanted to live and the freedom she wanted to have. And like, it literally did not make sense. But because this person was successful, like from what we could tell on the outside with their product-based business in Charleston, like they're successful, but it in no way converted to what my client was wanting to build or to her offers or to her audience. Like it made zero sense. And she was so confused. And we spent a decent amount of time on her call just unraveling, like, just because this person says it's a great idea doesn't mean it's a great idea for you. And so that is so much of this is really figuring out like marketing works. You know, all the stuff you see online works. Like, but it doesn't work for everyone because it might not be for you or your audience or the way you want to live or the way you want to build your business or your freedom. Like there's so much more in that. And that is what I love supporting clients with and being deep in their business to see like, yes, maybe industry standards are this, but you've been hitting these crazy high conversion rates on your landing page. So it's helpful to know industry standards, but if we know normally your landing page is converted 80%, this one's converting at 30%, yes, it looks better than industry standards, but like you're usually higher than that. So like, let's look at that. So that is something I know doesn't make sense on paper. The amount of depth, the amount of details. I keep spreadsheets for every meeting. I'm doing recaps afterwards and sending them to my clients. Like, that depth doesn't make sense on paper. But again, it's why my clients feel so held. They feel so supported. They know the right problem to solve, and they get results that don't make sense. Let's keep going. Okay, so number 3 are the traffic dashboards I talked about. I build these for free, and this does not look good on paper, but it helps clients know exactly what works, know exactly the right problem to solve, the right gap to close. And this is where so many people waste their time because they don't have this level of data. Like, I love Woo. I've got my little altar over there with my sage, but I am very data driven, and it's because it makes things so much more simple. And even when I know these things, like, it's so much easier to have someone reflect it to you. So, excuse me, even my clients who do know about traffic and leads and dashboards, most of the time they're not creating them for themselves. Most of the time they're not implementing a UTM strategy themselves. And most of the time they don't have someone reflecting, like, until they hire me, reflecting all of this back to them, because to me it's so obvious. But one of my clients she hired me, she was showing up everywhere, like, you name it. She was on the platforms, she was in the groups, she was burning herself out, but she was wondering, like, why her sales weren't consistent. She was also really having to convince people. She was having to apologize for her rates. But we built a simple dashboard. I built a dashboard, saved her $2,000, and we were able to see where her leads were actually coming from. I had a client hire me recently who will be starting soon, and on our first call, she did not know. This is what I mentioned earlier about, like, not knowing if you have a leads or conversion problem. She didn't know. And I'm like, this is so knowable. Like, I can just build this dashboard. This is something I got trained to do. I spent my own time, my own resources learning how to do this in my business. And then my clients benefit from it. Like, if you hire me, you have such a competitive advantage over everyone else in your industry because you're looking at this data. Like, my client on a call, one of them pulled up and we were able to see one of her emails created $2,269 of revenue. Like, this is all knowable stuff. If she can take that email and keep using it in different forms, because we know that landed. Again, when people hire me and they don't know, is it a conversion? Is it a leads problem? Most people think it's clients. It's like, okay, I'm not booking clients. I need to get more people on calls. But it's like, well, it all just depends. I'm like, let's look at the data. Like, if you hire me and you don't know this level of detail, I'm not going to say it's a leads or a conversion problem until we see the data and the numbers, because this is how you know what's working. This is how you're not showing up in 500 places. Like, I've saved myself so much money from VAs. Like, I'm more than willing to pay for support, but I was paying so much money to post in other Facebook groups, and I looked at the data. I'm like, there's like 2 people, who come through in the last 9 months. Like, it doesn't make sense. So not only are we able to find the places that work and dial it in and go there, but it also just saves money and saves you time and saves burnout and headache by just being like, oh, I can let that go. I don't have to do that anymore, or I don't have to have a team member do that anymore. We can literally let that go. You can know, like, I posted on stories and I know this story led into these bookings or led into these signups. Like, it is so fun. And it's when I say business is a game that I know how to play. And it's because of this level of detail that most coaches don't know about these, and none of them. Search the online space. Search, prove me wrong. I will be happy to hear it. No other coach builds this for you for free and integrates it into their work. I'm just saying. And that doesn't, like, make sense on paper for me to offer that. But the reason my clients get such great results, the reason they love to renew, is because of stuff like this. Like, yes, they could not keep working me and still have this. Like, it's an asset in their business forever, but it works so much better when they have me in their pocket to problem solve and really implement it. And I hate to use the term accountability, but this is what I'm like, have you TM'd that? And they're like, no, I know I should. And it's like, well, we can know these things, or you can just keep guessing. Like, it's your choice. But most coaches, most people would tell me that I need to upsell this, that I need to make it a traffic tracking package, or insert whatever, but I just build it as like a bonus, a fun bonus for working with me and hiring with me, because I literally don't know how coaches or masterminds I know that masterminds and groups, this is not something that they are looking at, not something they can offer, but I don't know how coaches can support their clients without this, because you're flying blind. Again, search the internet. Let me know if you find another one-to-one coach at my level, with my level of experience, with the receipts, with the data, with all the results I can give you, and building these dashboards for you for free. I don't see anyone else doing this. So again, this is like in my one-to-one work, in my support, I support you with the tools, I support you with the strategy, and we know what's actually getting results without making you do busy work or making you implement 50 other things or making a 17-step funnel. Like, this saves my clients money in terms of actually getting it built, in terms of their team and their time, but it makes knowing the next best step so freaking simple. So that is something we'll talk about more another time, because I just love this piece and I don't feel like I talk about it enough. But we'll move on to number 4, because I got to be mindful of the time. So number 4 is making sure that clients get on calls. And I know this sounds so silly, but this doesn't look good on paper. Like, so many coaches, masterminds, they literally don't care if you show up or use your support or not. I do. So last week, a client, mentioned in Voxer, she was like, I have a conflict on my session, and she let me know a few days in advance. If you can't move it earlier, I totally understand. I'll just have a shorter session. And I couldn't move it earlier that day because we had camp drop off. But I was like, I want you to get your full session. Like, that is a value I have. That is important to me. How about I open up a spot on Friday? And we moved it to Friday. I don't do client calls on Friday, but it's so important to me that she have that full session, that I opened a spot on Friday and moved it to that. And it's so simple, but that is not something most coaches are doing. I opened this Friday spot, but because I want my clients to use their support. And there are so many coaches who don't even want you to show up for your calls, or they make it wrong if you need the in-between support, or, they cut you off at a certain point if you've used too much support. And this is something, it felt really icky to me. I was in that like $4,000 mastermind, and we had calls like twice a month. And our last call for it's like a 4-month, it was over like $1,000 or $2,000 a month for this mastermind. The last call was like the week of Christmas, and we were traveling for Christmas, and I didn't even think about it, but at the time in my head, it was just like, yeah, I can't go to that. And she messaged everyone in like the platform we shared. I guess she got on the call and no one else was there, and she was like, seemed mad about it. And in retrospect, I'm like, she should have rescheduled that. She should have like asked. Like, it was literally like days before Christmas, and most of us had families and kids, and she didn't. So I guess she didn't think about it. I don't know. But it was so icky to me afterwards. I'm like, she should have rescheduled that, like either on the front end or when no one showed up. Like, not being mad at us or making us wrong, but being like, oh, this literally doesn't work for anyone. It didn't work for anyone that signed up and paid her. She should have moved that. And that is something that has always stuck with me. And it's a reason I pay my VA. So I pay my team member to go to our client list every month, to go into Satori, and to make sure my clients have their sessions booked. And if they don't, she emails them separately and she helps them get it set up. So either they go in and book it, oh, I forgot, I need to book it, or she's literally like helping them, because some clients need help with the tech stuff. But I'm paying her to do that. I'm paying her to get clients on their calls. That is so important to me. And I don't know many coaches that do that. They're just kind of like, you use your sessions or you don't. And I'm not babysitting. Like, I'm not a teacher that's like, have you scheduled your sessions? I mean, there's some clients that I lovingly do that, because we've worked together for years. I know them so well. But this is not something most coaches, programs, masterminds, like, they kind of don't want you to use your stuff. They don't want to use your support. They're gaslight you when you do show up and need it and are asking for things. And that is so messed up to me. Like, it is important that my clients have their calls. And obviously, my clients all use the in-between support differently. Some of them show up every day. Some of them show up, once a week when they have a big question, or like, literally everyone uses it differently, and my job is to learn them and how they use it. But it's also my job on the front end to open it up, to like however it feels good for you to use the support, I want you to use it. Again, whether it's daily, every other day, whatever. But this doesn't look smart on paper. Like, I'm getting on more calls than I quote unquote need to, or paying a team member more than I quote unquote need to. But that is what most people would not want to do. But to me, it is just such a fundamental value that, and this is why clients get great results, because they're showing up for these calls, because they're getting support, they're giving themselves permission. And for a lot of us as women, that's such a learning curve, is being like, oh, I can ask for this support. Like, oh, I don't have to do this alone. Or they've been struggling for their own for so long that they finally have someone they can talk to. And it's just like a new thing that they have to acclimate to. And so helping them like learn how to do that, I consider as part of my job. Can I help you? That's baking soda. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Making bath bombs out there. Okay. So let's wrap this up. But you can see all of these things did not make sense on paper, but it is why I have been able to scale past $1 million in lifetime cash. It's why my clients are able to 2x to 14x their rates and be able to sell out their spots, is from this support, from these things that I'm willing to do that don't make sense on paper. And if I was only focused on marketing or scaling or doing the quote unquote right thing, I probably wouldn't have done any of these, and it would have cost me so many clients, so many months of recurring revenue, so many amazing relationships, and so many of my clients getting insane results for them and their families and their goals. Like, if I just think about what was at stake and listening to those courses and programs and masterminds, like, it's mind blowing to me. And I'm so grateful that I've listened to myself and listened to my business and how I like to work as a person and relationships I like to build. Like, that is so important to me, because the truth is you can build this kind of business too. Like, this, there's no secret. There's no like curtain when you hire me that I've got all the magic secrets behind me. It's literally like everything you see on the online space works. It just depends on how is it working for you? How are we doing it with your offers and what you bring to the table and your expertise? And how do we bridge the gap between you, what you do, and talking to your people and the problem they're aware that they have, and helping them, helping you nail your messaging and positioning so that the easy yeses just roll in and it doesn't feel like you're bending over backwards and having to convince someone to hire you. You can have all of this, and it doesn't come from always doing what looks right on paper or looks scalable or someone else's blueprint. Like, it comes from making it your own and getting the right support to do what's right for you. So I would love to have a conversation to talk to you about what working together, maybe it's my September 1st spot, seeing what that looks like, talking about your offers, talking about what's working, what's not working, what your challenges are, what your goals are. I want to know all of that, and I want to see if we're a fit. So again, I'll drop the link below. These are best fit consults for starting September 1st with the traffic dashboard, with all the good one-to-one support on your calls in between, really having a partner in your business like you've never had before. And just knowing that this level of support is not something that makes sense on paper, that you're not going to find with most coaches. You're not going to find with group programs or masterminds, or I say the cheaper stuff, but it's not even cheaper. I have someone who just hired me. She was doing a mastermind that cost way more than my one-to-one support. And she's in a group with women who aren't even knowing her business, and they're giving her good advice, but it's not right for her, and she still can't book clients. And all of that to say, like, I know I'm good at what I do. I know my clients get an ROI who show up and do the work. And this is really, the results come from this relationship and us both willing to do things that don't look scalable on paper, or what your husband or spouse or mom or dad would say doesn't make sense on paper. But this is where you truly build a business that lights you up, gives you the freedom you crave, like has clients that love you, love your work, will sell for you, and just feels good, and blows up your bank account, makes the 10K, 20K, 50K, 200K month you want. So I cannot wait to talk to you. I'm opening spots. I think there's some open next week. I think this week is pretty full already, but grab your consult. DM me if you have any questions about anything before you book. I am totally available in the DMs. It's just me responding, or hit reply on an email, but I cannot wait to meet you, and we will be back next week with a really fun, amazing conversation. So I'll see you then. Bye.